Hi, students. It's Michelle. I'm here to talk about three motivation theories from chapter 11. The three theories I'm going to highlight are in the classical theory selection. So not necessarily newer theories on motivation, but definitely some important ones. They are McClelland's achievement, power, and affiliation theory, Herzberg's two-factor theory, and Vroom's expectancy theory. Couple notes before we begin. Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation is a very important part of looking at employee motivation. People that are intrinsically motivated are motivated from within. They want to do a good job on a project, on their work. They want to feel good. They want to feel accomplished. And so they're motivated by what's internal in them. Extrinsically motivated people are motivated. Yes, they want to do a good job, but they're more motivated by things like a bonus or recognition or maybe a trip somewhere if it's a sales contest. So it's important to know what is the primary motivation in the different people that you supervise, as well as what's your primary motivation factor. Is it from within or is it extrinsic? And then just a note on having remote workers. You know, we do have about 12% of our workforce in the United States working primarily remote, and thinking about how are they motivated and how is that different from someone who is at the organization working. And so more of the recent research on motivation says that remote workers really want that flow of information. They feel like they're not getting the same level of information that people who are at the company are getting. So make sure that any new procedure or policy or company news is shared with remote workers. Okay, so the first of three theories that I'm going to talk about is McClelland's achievement, power, and affiliation theory. So people have all three of these to some degree, but will have a primary need that really is their big motivator. So someone might have the need for achievement. They want to have that accomplishment. They might have the need for power, want to have influence and be able to give instructions throughout the day versus taking instructions throughout the day. And then need for affiliation. So want to have that social aspect of the company and want to collaborate and work together. And that is their most important need of the three. And so I have a little picture here of Barbie at the end of her movie, thinking about her leadership throughout that entire movie. She definitely has the need for affiliation. So she wanted to do things and didn't want to necessarily do them alone, though in the leadership position that she found herself in, she was quite often alone. She also had the need for achievement. She wanted to figure things out. She wanted to keep learning and to keep growing. All right, looking at Herzberg's two-factor theory, two types of factors here, hygiene and motivating. It's important to note that hygiene factors do not increase motivation, but if they're not present, your employees will be dissatisfied. So you have to make sure that people are working in a safe environment, that it is at a temperature that makes working pleasant, that there would be no smells or anything that's out of the ordinary, but that people are in fact receiving a fair wage for their work, and that it's safe and they are being communicated with, they're being treated respectfully. Factors that increase motivation in this theory are opportunities for achievement, recognition, that the work itself is challenging and enjoyable. People are getting responsibility, they're getting pay increases with more responsibility. There's opportunities for development. So these, to the degree that they're present, are going to be more motivating. The environment is going to be more motivating for employees. And then I saved this one for the end because it's a little bit more confusing of all the three different theories. I did include a video in the weekly folder that is a gentleman who also explains this theory and does a super good job through it, an example of needing his car cleaned and then approaching his kids to clean it. So what this theory is saying, and it can be, these three can appear in any order, but that there's three factors, and the more of each factor that's present, then the higher your motivation. So what you're doing is, in this formula of valence times expectancy times instrumentality, the more that they're present, the higher that you assign a value to those factors, the more your motivation is going to increase, because it's going to be a higher number. So the first factor is valence. So if there's a reward being offered, do I want it? How much do I want it? Maybe it's something I really, really want, like if I am number one in the sales contest, I get a free voucher to fly anywhere in the United States, and I really love to travel. Well, I'm going to put a high valence on that. So on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm going to say that that's a 5. Whereas an employee who, yeah, I'm not big on traveling, don't really like to fly, is going to probably put a valence of a 1 on that. So their motivation, dependent on these other factors, is going to be less than the person who really, really values the reward. Expectancy then is, how much do you think that your personal effort, if you gave it everything you had, was going to actually lead to you taking first place in the sales contest? So if you don't think that if you applied yourself, you're going to come in first, well, you're not going to be motivated. But if it's an area that you think, yeah, I've really got a shot to come in first on this particular sales contest, then your expectancy is going to be that much higher than someone who's like, I don't really do good in these sales contests, so yeah, I'll give it a 1, versus someone who's really good at sales. Okay, and then the final piece is the instrumentality. So how much do you believe that your supervisor, boss, is actually going to give you the voucher to fly if you get first place? So say you believe you can do it, you put in the effort, you really want the reward. How much do you believe that they're actually going to give you that reward? That's going to be your score for instrumentality. So if you've been at the company a while and they don't necessarily give out the reward, then you're going to have a low instrumentality, versus someone maybe who's brand new at the company is like, oh yeah, I'm sure they're good on this, and their instrumentality is going to be a higher level. So the point is that they can appear in any order because you're just multiplying them to get the motivation level. But use the same scale. So if you're going to use a 1 to 5 scale, then that's going to be the scale every time you address this theory, or with every employee that you use this theory with. Make sure that the scale is the same. And then just a couple notes here, a few pieces on motivation, just from some different books that I've read on motivating people. So definitely, everybody should be involved as much as possible in decision making. Taking a look, of course, at what is possible. And then don't create a culture of your buddies and then you. And I mean that for anybody. No matter what age you are, what gender you are, don't create a culture of, hey, this is the in-group, and people can tell there's an in-group. And so if they're not in that group, it's going to be pretty deflating for them. So keep that in mind. All right. Thank you.